Welcome to the second Nova Scotia Community Impact Sector Day of Recognition. As we begin, I want to acknowledge that we're hosting today's event in Chibuktuk in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. This territory is covered by the treaties of peace and friendship that were signed by the Mi'kmaq and the Wolastoqiyik people with the British Crown in 1726. And these territories did not include the surrendering of lands. Instead, they set the stage for what was meant to be a long-lasting relationship between nations, preventing war, preventing interference with Indigenous rights to hunting, fishing, and agriculture, and enabling and facilitating trade. We are all treaty people, and as such, we have a responsibility to each other and to this land. This territory is also the birthplace of African culture and heritage in this country that is now known as Canada. And it is after the forcible displacement of people of African descent and the oat migration of Black loyalists from the United States. People of African Nova Scotians have been in Nova Scotia for over 400 years, and today more than 50 strong and resourceful communities exist across our province. My name is Annika Voltan, and I'm the Executive Director of IONS, or Impact Organizations of Nova Scotia. And I am so pleased to welcome you all to this celebratory event. We had the honor and pleasure of working in partnership with United Way, the province of Nova Scotia, and the Bhayana Family Foundation in making today's festivities possible. And when we were starting to think about where we would host this event and what might be on the agenda, it was very clear from the beginning that we wanted to make this special. We wanted to integrate the arts and diversity. And it wasn't long before that led us to considering hosting the event at Lighthouse Arts Centre. And so to tell you a bit more about that, I want to turn it over to Ryan Veltmeyer.
Hi, everybody. As Annika said, my name is Ryan Veltmeyer, and I'm part of the team here at Lighthouse, at the Lighthouse Arts Centre. So we're building this new arts incubator we're in here today in downtown Halifax. My job here is I'm managing the Lighthouse Link, which is a series of community spaces, a co-working space, and offices where we can gather, work, and connect together when they open up later this year. And I can't wait to invite you all to become a part of that. Today we're here in our TV studio where we do everything from shoot TV shows like This Hour Has 22 Minutes, to do hybrid events like the one we're at here today. So this is the first of many events that we'll get to be able to do together in Halifax now. Yeah, we were thrilled when the Impact Organization of Nova Scotia and United Way reached out to us, not just to be a venue for today's event, but to begin bringing together the arts community and the social impact community a lot closer. At Lighthouse, we believe that arts and culture is an essential part of building community, of economic and social development, of systems change, and of building a better and more connected province and region. We hope this is the first of many events and activities we can be a part of to ensure that the stories, talent, and vision of our artists and creative minds are integrated well with the incredible grassroots work being carried out by all of our province's community organizations. So together with the determination and imagination, we believe that we can expand our collective work solving social and economic problems, saving lives, and building a more vibrant and connected communities. So from the whole team here at Lighthouse, welcome to you all, and I hope you have a great event.
Thank you, Ryan. And now I have the absolute pleasure of introducing our MC for this event, Portia Clark. So Portia is the host of Information Morning for Mainland Nova Scotia on CBC Radio 1. She's an established journalist with a solid reputation as a trusted interviewer who has covered some of our country's biggest stories throughout her 20-year career with CBC. Her first introduction to the airwaves was actually working as a reporter, producer, and newsreader here in Halifax in 1998. And in 2000, she moved west with her family, working in various roles before moving back in 2018. Portia has strong roots in rural Nova Scotia, having grown up in Sandy Cove and Digby Neck and Bear River. And she's actively involved in her community and enjoys participating and supporting a variety of local community events. We're so pleased to have Portia as our MC here today, and on the heels of a series of great interviews that she conducted this past week with some of our Invisible Champion Award winners. You can find more about those and the links to the interviews on the Information Morning website and via ION's social media. Over to you, Portia.
Thanks very much, Annika. Thank you, Ryan, and welcome to all of you who I can see a little bit out there, speaking of invisible, but becoming more visible by the moment. It's lovely to be here. And as Annika said, it was a real pleasure to meet several of you. We had 5 interviews on this week on the morning show, talking about the work that you do in your communities. And it was really interesting for me personally to find out more about how you came to do that work, why you do the work, what keeps you with it. And mostly it's about people and helping people. And you have huge hearts. So my admiration already goes out to you, and I'm really looking forward to today's event. So welcome to the 2nd Annual Nova Scotia Community Impact Sector Day of Recognition. Thanks for joining us in person and virtually. In Nova Scotia, we're very fortunate to benefit from a robust and resilient community impact sector. More than 20,000 workers, people like you, are in this sector, strengthening our quality of life here in Nova Scotia with your programs and your supports, your advocacy, education, which is really important, aimed at improving our well-being and addressing inequities. Today, we're celebrating our nonprofit organizations and the people. The people are most important, the people behind them. We have an exciting lineup of artists today, too, which is appropriate to the space that we're in. They're going to be paying tribute to nonprofits and the communities that they serve. An artist that's going to be with us through the duration of the celebration today, who you may be seeing right now, is Bria Miller. Bria is a queer, Black, and African Nova Scotian, multidisciplinary visual artist born and raised in Yarmouth, Nova Scotia, now residing and creating within North End, Jabuktuk. And she's worked as a professional artist and creator, a graphic facilitator, an arts educator, an event organizer, a DJ, a poet, among many other art jobs since moving to Halifax in 2011. Over 2022, their goal is to create some new works, which they'll be doing today, and to collaborate as much as possible while growing their small business. It's called Bria Makes Things, if you're looking out for it. Bria will be doing a live capture art piece through the celebration, which is really going to summarize today's event through their artistic interpretation. So that will be interesting to follow along with, and we'll see that toward the end of our event today. We're going to check in on her regularly on the screen, and for people attending virtually, we'll be putting her work on your screen periodically throughout this event. As I mentioned, there will be performers, and it's my real pleasure to introduce our first, Emma Stevens. Emma is a recent graduate of Allison Bernard Memorial High School and a member of Eskasoni First Nation. She gained a lot of recent attention for her Mi'kmaq language version of the Beatles song Blackbird with other students and staff from the high school. We've played it many times on Information Morning, and I've had the pleasure of seeing Emma perform it live at a Phoenix fundraiser. She's going to be performing today the Mi'kmaq Honor Song, which was written by Elder George Paul. It honors Mi'kmaq people and their ancestors. So I'd love to give Emma Stevens a very warm welcome.
Hi, my name is Emma Stevens, and I am from Essasonig, it's Eskasoni in Cape Breton. That bio was written a long time ago. I'm in college now. Yeah, I'm going to perform the Mi'kmaq Honors Song, and if you can, would you please rise? Get me dead on an edge, don't tell you no tea. Nigga mastu, get my weed on edge. And get me dead on an edge, don't wear a big salty. Nigga masu, get bona marutinage, get bona marutinage, dan kisuk deliga luksik. Wulla sit kahamuk, away, aheyo, away, away, high, away, high, away, 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 away, high. Get me dead on an edge, don't wear a big salty. Nigga mastu, get my weed on edge. And get me dead on an edge, don't wear a big salty. Nigga mastu, get a bona marutinage, get a bona marutinage, dan kisuk deliga luksik. Wulla sit gahamuk, away, aheyo, away, 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 high, away, away, high, hey, yo. Walalia.
Emma Stevens, Malalia, thank you so much for honoring us with the honor song today and opening today's event in such a meaningful way. I'd like to now invite Dylan Young to the stage. Dylan's going to introduce Minister Adams from the Nova Scotia government. Dylan works right now with Love NS, which is a community organization that's making a positive impact on young people in our province, and he's going to share a little bit of his story as well. Come on up, Dylan. Warm welcome to you.
Hi there, my name is Dylan Young and I attend the Love Nova Scotia program. I would like to share my experiences and how I view the program to all of you. Love Nova Scotia is like one big family. In the opinion of mine and many others, is the best youth development program that I've ever been in. I started attending Love in late 2019 and it has been an amazing journey. The reason I started going to Love is because I started losing myself. I had no energy to do anything and no motivation at all. I wasn't taking care of myself enough, but thankfully, I was told by a group of friends about a program named Love Nova Scotia, and I started attending it. Within the first night, Love Nova Scotia seen something in me that many people did not see in me. They asked me if I wanted to join the leadership program, and I took it because it made me feel like I finally had something going in the right direction for me. It finally made me feel like I had something to commit to. So I attended Love, rain or shine, and every time I went, I learned something new. I learned how to leave out violence. I learned how to love people around me and give more positivity than I could ever receive. And 2 years later, I'm here. I would also love to mention the executive director of Love Nova Scotia, Dennis Adams, sitting strong and proud of how I developed throughout these past couple of years. To say that's why I love Nova Scotia is one of the most important and best youth development programs in the world. Thank you, Love Nova Scotia, and I can't wait to spend many more years with this organization. Now it's my honor to introduce the Honorable Barbara Adams, is the Minister of Senior and Long-Term Care. She was first elected to the Nova Scotia House of Assembly as an MLA for Cole Harbour and Eastern Passage in 2017, and was re-elected as the MLA for Eastern Passage in 2021. Barbara is a physiotherapist who graduated from Dalhousie University in 1984. She also has a certificate in business management. Barbara worked at the hospital system in Ontario and Nova Scotia before moving into private practices in 2007. She was the clinical director of physio care at home and a private business owner through the Atlantic Balance and Dizziness Center in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Barbara started working with children with special needs when she was 12 years old. She volunteered as a guest speaker with many organizations like Nova Scotia Arthritis Society, Alzheimer Society, and Caregiver Nova Scotia. Barbara served on the board of directors of CARP, Vaughan Halifax, serving Senior Alliance, Ocean View Continuing Care Center, and Eastern Passage and Area Business Association. She is the mother of 2 sons and 2 stepsons.
Thank you, Dylan, but he left out the best part. We're both from Dartmouth High School. So it is a great honor to join you here today on behalf of the Premier of Nova Scotia and the province. And before I begin, I would also like to acknowledge that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the traditional territory of the Mi'kmaq people. The nonprofit sector or impact sector organizations and their employees play an essential role in our thriving, healthy communities in Nova Scotia. They are in almost every community and demonstrate various acts of kindness and community service every single day. Nonprofit sector organizations make a positive difference in our communities, especially during the last 2 years. These are our most challenging times, and we have drawn together to support each other. And it is our collective responsibility to ensure that these organizations do not remain invisible. That is why we are gathered here with you today, virtually and in person, to celebrate, recognize, and honor you. The Day of Recognition is just one way that we can express our gratitude to all of you. I want to thank each and every nonprofit sector organization, the dedicated staff, and the volunteers for all of the exceptional work that you do in helping enrich the lives of so many Nova Scotians. Your work and impact are greatly noticed and appreciated. As Dylan mentioned, I started working with children with special needs when I was 12 years old. And it bothered me so much that these children didn't have the same opportunities as other children did in terms of physical activities and integration even into the school system. And so it was at that age of 12 that I decided I wanted to be somebody who helped those with physical limitations. And now nearly 50 years later, here I am as the Minister of Seniors and Long-Term Care, still doing the same thing. So I know that volunteering gives you a tremendous sense of self-worth, but it also helps guide you in what your future is going to look like and what it's going to look like for Dylan, who have already tried to recruit for a volunteer event that I'm hosting as well. So once a volunteer, always a volunteer. Government, too, is committed to creating solutions to improving our society. And that includes improving healthcare, expanding our population, working towards equity and full inclusion, and of course, fighting climate change and other important sectors. It will require strong leadership and a willingness to take bold action. But like all of you, we believe by working together, we can get the job done. This is just one of the many reasons why I am proud to represent the province of Nova Scotia. I want to take a moment to thank all of the employees, the volunteers, and members of the Impact Organization of Nova Scotia, the United Way Halifax, and the Bhayana Family Foundation for their hard work and dedication in planning this day of recognition. We'd like to recognize you for every day of the year, but it's important that we have this day. It is truly a special event. For this reason, it is my honor to read and present the Day of Recognition 2022 proclamation on behalf of the Honorable Tim Houston, Premier of Nova Scotia. Whereas the Day of Recognition is a time to celebrate the contributions, achievements, and efforts of more than 20,000 Nova Scotian nonprofit sector employees. And whereas the nonprofit sector or impact sector is made up of organizations committed to strengthening the quality of life of community members through initiatives such as newcomer services, food programs, mental health outreach, youth mentorship, sports and recreation activities, gender-based violence prevention, and art and music, to name a few. And whereas Nova Scotia is fortunate to be home to a vibrant nonprofit sector with employees helping maintain our healthy communities and building a more equitable province each and every day. Therefore, I, Tim Houston, Premier of Nova Scotia, do hereby proclaim April 29th, 2022 to be the Day of Recognition for the nonprofit sector in the province of Nova Scotia. Thank you, and I'm sure you will all enjoy the afternoon ceremonies. And thank you to you, Dylan.
Thanks very much, Minister Adams. Also appreciate getting to know more about your background and connection to this kind of work, and your government's recognition today and with this proclamation is greatly appreciated by everyone in the room. Seems like a good opportunity to let all of you know that the next Provincial Volunteer Awards ceremony is scheduled for September 26th. This September coming up. The nominations for the specialty awards are open now, and the deadline is May 23rd. You can find some more information online about those by going to novascotia.ca/volunteer awards. So if you know of a family or a young person that's gone above and beyond to contribute to their community, and I'm sure you do, consider nominating them. It seems really is award season. You can also nominate your entire community for a Lieutenant Governor's Community Spirit Award as well. The Lieutenant Governor's Community Spirit Award celebrates the power and the strength and the diversity of the many vibrant communities we have across our province. And you can find some information about that by going to communityspiritaward.ca. The deadline there, a little earlier, May 20th. Our next performance is from a group called Drummers from Home. Drummers from Home is a unique collective of 5 people who've come together out of their love for African, well, 2 today, The two, united by their love of African and world beat rhythms. Over the years, the group of two has developed a unique chemistry and works very hard to bring in the various backgrounds and the personalities of the players, two of them. Robert Leake came to Drummers from Home in 2017. He's originally from New Brunswick and brings a strong Caribbean and African rhythm to his group. His spacing and his accents give creativity to the playlist, as we're about to hear. And Ayo Oladajebi has been drumming since he was a youngster in Nigeria. His drumming has strong Yoruba, Southern Nigerian roots, and he helps to anchor many of the compositions with something called polyrhythms, which we will pick up on, I'm sure. Let's welcome Drummers from Home, Ayo and Robert. Ao and Robert. Wonderful. Polly, I get it now. Many. That was wonderful. Thank you for bringing your energy to our celebration today. I'm very pleased to introduce now our next artist, Masuma Khan, also known as General Khan. General Khan's an artist and community organizer born and raised in Jibuktuk, Mi'kma'ki. For General Khan, poetry is an expression that's tied to her identity as a displaced Pashtun, and her art style is influenced by her lived experiences with oppression, such as white supremacy, colonialism, displacement, racism, Islamophobia, disability justice and injustice, and more. You may have seen her at protests and actions around the city because she is so active on many fronts. Her friends know her for her big smile and her even bigger heart. And today she's going to be reading a poem that she has written. So welcome, General Khan. Hi.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to be reading 2 poems for you today. I work in the nonprofit sector. So the first poem is about my experience with dealing with racism as a racialized person working in this sector. Dear white folks, it's time to listen up. My name is General Khan, and I'm here to call your bluff. White savior complex is all you reek of. You want to employ BIPOC folks, but you think you do a better job micromanaging and stifling our talents. And this isn't the first time we've had this conversation. Racism deserves reflection, contemplation, and requires action. When I told you this space was oppressive, it wasn't just an observation, it was an experience. An experience I had and community did too. Listen, this is about love. This is about care. You know, I'm not here for white fragility or white tears. You can get mad at me all you want, but deep down, you know it isn't fair. Stifling our growth, you think I just like to go toe to toe. But this is about systems that are outside of my control. It's about power. It's about privilege. You're racist, and I don't care if you take this as a diss and just dismiss it. But your actions and the things you're saying are conflicting, messing with our vision instead of being an accomplice, an ally, and uplifting. And what about accountability? You won't do it because it messes up with your own stability. No proof before white lenses, so you pretend that it didn't happen because that was your friend. No proof, so you don't believe. Nah. This is no justice, no peace. This is no racist police. This is no, you can't proceed until we receive apologies, accountability, change, and it's in us, you must believe. The racism inside your souls needs to be on rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. We will not accept defeat. Our liberation is concrete, cemented, indefinite, and endless. Dear white folks, unlearning racism every day and in every way is always recommended. So that was the first piece. Thank you. So this piece I wrote for all of us. You know, when you're working in an NGO or you're doing like service work for community, it can burnout is inevitable. I work for Coverdale. I work at Caitlin's Place. I'm a program coordinator there. So I work with incarcerated women. And it is the most rewarding work, and it's so important, but it can feel like you're stuck in a cycle. So I don't have a name for this, but here we go. Wake up, work, eat, sleep, repeat. Wake up, work, eat, sleep, repeat. Sometimes I start the day with my cup full. Some days I run on empty. I might get cranky, but I promise I'm not miserable. Because to me, layers of invisibilities are visible. I can feel oppression. I experience it through my skin. I can see the division caused by hatred, but my heart tells me that together we will win. Wake up, work, eat, sleep, repeat. I see the ripples of my work, of my healing, of my kindness, of the community that I have built. Recognizing the work we do is a skill that you must learn, because I can't let y'all go on another day without appreciating your own labor. And no, what you did was not just a favor. Your work is an extension of your soul and of your heart. Building community from the ground up, now that's my kind of art. Grounded in care, in hopes to repair, to share resources so that our clients don't dwindle in despair. To analyze invisible layers and what feels like invincible systems. But we carry on with our persistence. These actions are not just coincidences. This is who we are. We are their community and they are ours. Wake up, work, eat, sleep, and repeat. I urge you to see the wonderful work that we do. I've worked with youth, adults, disabled and queer folks, Ilnu, African Nova Scotian, those I've just met, and those I've known for years. Because when you're working with community, trust me, you're not in it for the money. Really, we're not. You're in it for the greater good, for those who need support and those who feel misunderstood. Wake up, work, eat, sleep, and repeat. Burnout will happen, but don't let it be a distraction. You can take a step back while I'll step in and reciprocate to sustain our collective action. We're in this together, in solidarity and more. And I know sometimes our jobs can feel like chores, but we create the change our communities need when we wake up, work, eat, sleep, and repeat. Your work is important. Your frustrations are valid. Just think about all the harm reduction you've done to reduce the damage. You're a change maker, a mover and a shaker. And though you might feel invisible, I'm here to remind you that yes, you are incredible, because you make the invisible visible. Thank you so much.
And thank you, General Khan. There was a wake-up theme in both of her poems, I feel, and appreciate her message. Next, I'd like to welcome Annika Volton back to the stage to share some recent research her organization has done about the impact and the priorities of the community impact sector that you're all connected to. Annika, as she introduced herself moments ago, is the Executive Director of Impact Organizations of Nova Scotia, or IONS, and one of the partners who's making today's event happen. IONS works to help develop the capacity of people and organizations in this sector and to understand and communicate sector priorities based on research and engagement. So Annika, back to you.
Okay, so I wanted to just reiterate again on behalf of all of the partners, thanks so much for those of you who have joined us today. We know there are a number of elected officials that have joined, and really appreciating the proclamation that was shared earlier as well. So I'm going to take a few moments now and talk about why this sector deserves celebration. At IONS, our mission is to champion and build the capacity of Nova Scotia's impact organizations. And we move collectively in unwavering pursuit of healthy, vibrant futures for all communities, people, land, and living beings. And we're working toward a vision of a dynamic and influential community impact sector that is valued for its visionary, bold, and brave contributions toward a decolonized, just, and equitable Nova Scotia. And as Portia just shared, we do that through offering opportunities for learning and networking to help build the capacity of the people and the volunteers who are working in our sector, by engaging the sector in understanding priorities, challenges, and topics of interest, and by celebrations like today's. I wanted to start by talking about the fact that our sector is complex, diverse, and spans a wide array of activities. It's made up of charities, nonprofits, social enterprises, and volunteer groups, as well as grassroots community organizers and leaders. We have some new data that's hot off the press that we'll be sharing with you in the coming weeks, but we now know officially that there are 7,562 organizations in our province. About 38% of those are charities, and about 62% are registered nonprofits, and that doesn't even touch those organizations or groups that haven't registered formally. There are 11 subsectors of the nonprofit or community impact sector, and their activities range from social services, the arts, sports and recreation, housing and development, environment, and others. And we have a tendency to paint this sector with one brush, and we're doing it a disfavor by not recognizing its multiplicity and recognizing what these different subsectors have to offer in terms of how they operate in different ways, their unique contributions, and how they have a wide range of ways that they're contributing to life and our communities. And even in light of that diversity, there are commonalities. We're working toward a collective goal to improve lives through programs and services that address inequities, enhance well-being, and community belonging. In other words, through a lens of equity, belonging, and well-being for all. And as one CBC interviewee noted on Portia's show this week, if these organizations in the sector didn't exist, we would most certainly notice. In many ways, people across the sector are contributing to improving our collective social determinants of health. They're working on issues like food and employment insecurity, housing, social inclusion, and recreation. And it's highly likely, I would even say certain, that all of us have interacted directly and benefited directly from the folks that are working in this sector. In terms of the people that are working in community impact organizations, there are a lot of stereotypes that exist. There's images that are conjured up about ladies working at community bake sales, for example. But the reality is that this is a highly educated and skilled sector. And we recently did some research about the labor market challenges. And it's not so much that organizations are struggling with finding skilled people, it's that they're unable to compete with the wages and benefits that are found in other sectors. And you probably won't be surprised to know that women contribute to the vast majority of people who are working and are volunteering in this sector, nearly 70%. And that contributes to the stereotype of this being women's work, which also tends to be generally undervalued in our society. And it's time that we start to address these inequities. Over and over again, as we interact with people and do research, we're hearing things like burnout, navigating mental health in the workplace, and managing chronic work overload are things that are emerging as top issues. People are underpaid, have limited benefits, and it is time for that to change. We know that the last couple of years have been hard for everybody. It's definitely been hard for this sector. And at the same time, through the pandemic, organizations and people have stepped up to fill critical gaps in services and proven their capacity to be innovative. So many had to move their programming and services online, and for many that was a steep learning curve, but they made it happen. The reality is that local community groups are often the most connected to the people on the ground and aware of who is in their communities that are vulnerable and need supports. And they worked their butts off to make sure that those people were not falling through the cracks. They delivered food, they checked in, they helped get internet connections set up, they helped with mental health and addictions resources, and offered opportunities just to connect from a social standpoint. And I think for many, there was a recognition of the role of this sector in a more profound way than ever before. So some of you might be wondering, who is this IONS organization anyway? In late February, we shifted our name from the Community Sector Council of Nova Scotia to Impact Organizations in Nova Scotia. And we've also been, as you've probably been noticing today, adding the word impact into our description of the sector. This change was intentional. We wanted to move away from nonprofit to for impact. We wanted to reframe the sector in terms of what it is about rather than what it isn't. And of course, we know that a name change is only one step in a broader narrative shift. But we do want to encourage people to start considering using this new impact language and focusing on the resources and the value that we offer, the abundance in the sector versus the scarcity. It's time for us to stand up and say we deserve to be celebrated, to be seen, to be engaged and resourced. This year at IONS, we spent some time developing our own theory of change, and you can find that on our website if you're interested. But we're placing our bets that by strengthening the capacity and the resources of this sector, that there will be a positive overall effect on Nova Scotians, that a valued, engaged, and thriving sector will lead to enhanced quality of life for all. And to get there, we need to focus on a whole lot of things. Some of those include strengthening connections between organizations and peers who are working in the sector, ensuring that we have sustainable funding in place and increased wages and benefits, that we're working collaboratively with funders and decision makers, that we're collecting data to help us better understand the needs of the subsectors and equity-deserving groups. We need to be dismantling harmful systems and ensuring that the sector has a voice in decision-making. And as General Khan so powerfully shared in their first poem, I think although there's much to celebrate, there's also much to be done. At IONS, we've been offering learning opportunities about the harmful injustices of our past, and organizations have been showing up to learn. We need to keep going. We need to keep moving into action deeper and deeper. We need to question why we're doing the things we've been doing for decades and centuries in some cases. How we work, how power is held, how decisions are made, how we organize and govern around our desired impact. And there is an opportunity now to really think about sector transformation. So let's hold ourselves accountable. Let's celebrate, and let's nurture a society in Nova Scotia that we can all be proud of. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Annika. And that helps people like me learn more about the sector itself and even how to talk about it in terms of the language. So much appreciated. Our fourth artist this afternoon is Gylie Johnson. Gylie is a published author, a spoken word artist, a community advocate, and arts facilitator from North End Dartmouth. She has a passion for writing and speaking about inner and collective healing. And as an arts facilitator, she teaches young people about the power of words and mindfulness and mental health. She's published 2 books, Expect the Unexpected, always good advice, and Afraid of the Dark, which I had the pleasure of interviewing Gylie about a couple of years ago. Both are dedicated to young people in her community. In 2018, she won the Ancestral Roots Award for the Written Visual Arts category presented by the Delmore Buddy Day Learning Institute. And she recently started a job at Dalhousie University as an assistant registrar for admissions and recruitment. Important position. Whether you follow her on social media or know her in real life, she's starting the conversation for change and keeping it rolling. And her purpose is to encourage and empower and educate while creating some pathways and some opportunities for young people in and around her community. Today, she's going to read 2 poems that she's written. Please welcome Gylie Johnson.
Hi, everyone. I am so grateful to be here with you today. I am going to do 2 poems that are really about all of the people that have paved the roads that have got me here today, understanding that inner resilience and the power of representation. And the first one that I'm going to do here is called Resilient Roots. And it goes like this. Where are you from and what is your background always seem to insinuate a divide. What if I told you your history books lied and that on this land our roots are tied? There's something significant about being an African Nova Scotian. You can feel it when we talk, it's potent. In the country, they say there's something in the potion, because there ain't nothing like a Scotian. Shared language, values, community, and faith. Gathering as a collective, we create a safe space. Understanding the pain of the past as it relates. Even through darkness, our ancestors escaped. So it's confusing when you mix that pride with hate. Resilience embedded in the same soil that was damaged. Our ancestors somehow managed to grow, flourish, maintain, and keep. Some of them even worked on the same concrete. We drive, walk, run, and pass without any reminder of who they are, what they did, and why it's special. All of that begins to play on your mental. Why am I proud to be an African Nova Scotian if Nova Scotia is not proud of me? Structural systems to keep us oppressed usually go unaddressed because to acknowledge what was done would mean to take accountability. But that same accountability would have to come with some humility, humanity, and hope to view our perspective through the real scope. But as Black people, our experiences are often stripped in silence. Our cries for help get conveyed as whining, and then they try and say that you're not trying. We are forced to thrive in employment and educational systems that are not created for us to succeed. And when we ask for better opportunities, that gets conveyed as greed. How dare we demand equality? We attend schools where the curriculum doesn't connect, where we often experience neglect in the form of lack of respect, surrounded by classrooms that lack culture, diversity, and inclusive material to comprehend, the constant microaggressions towards Black women, and the label and stereotypes of our men. And for our white friends, we see the rules bend. And that's the part that hurts. It doesn't matter how hard you work, you'll still be unqualified, underrepresented, and underpaid, regardless of those foundations laid. Our communities are over-policed and targeted under surveillance nonstop. A disconnection with the cops, while violence and sickness plague the elders and the youth. Our resistance helps us to continue to push through. Breaking barriers by building bridges our youth can cross and connect. Dismantling years of oppression and neglect, we will one day live in a society where we reflect in all aspects across all boards, because we can only accept what we stand for. Rooted in our history and rich heritage, ready to honor those who came before us, recognizing the needs of those who will come after us. Where are you from? What is your background? I am an African Nova Scotian, from sea to land and land to sea. There's no way you can see Nova Scotia and not see me. Thank you. The next one that I'm going to do is called I Am Because We Are. I give thanks to the past created before I could walk, to the books written before I could talk, to the stories of the past that led me to light, for all of the victories that lessened my fight, for the ones who knew my beauty before I could see, for the ones who knew my purpose before I knew me, for the one that understands what is hard to convey, simply because they have traveled this way, to the one who knows that my strength isn't rooted in trial, to the one who gives reassurance to my in denial, to the village where everyone has a role to fulfill, to the builders and artists sketched in skill, to the dreamers who never stop dreaming so I could be, because I am you and you are me. A community hub of love and kin, etched in my skin, affirmations of worth to represent all who created the steps and all those who will follow, because what is done today will change tomorrow. Thank you.
Gylie Johnson, the power of words right there. Thank you, Gylie. I'm going to turn things over now to Sarah Napier, the president and CEO of the United Way of Halifax, to get us started with the awards portion of the event. Sarah, please come on up here. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Are we having a good time? One of the recipients when we came in today said, I didn't know it was going to be such a big deal. And I thought, what a wonderful feeling to have, that surprise of specialness, and we're so delighted. As Portia said, I'm Sarah Napier with United Way Halifax, and since 2017, United Way Halifax has been proud to partner with the Bhayana Family Foundation to present the Invisible Champion Awards. These awards are given to those invisible champions who work in the community impact sector. They go above and beyond for the people they represent and serve and the issues that they aim to further in our communities. In 2020, those awards expanded across Nova Scotia, and we were delighted to partner with our United Way colleagues right across the province. And we're doing the same today. The recipients, and Annika spoke about this as well, in terms of the sector overall, are passionate, highly skilled, resilient, dedicated, innovative, creative, and so humble in the work that they do. And so before we begin the official award presentations, I'd like to introduce a video from Raksha Bhayana, who is the president of the Bhayana Family Foundation, and she'll speak a little bit why her passion is in this area and why these awards are so important to her and her family and her initiative to launch this right across the country. Over to Raksha. Thank you.
Good afternoon. In 2020, Nova Scotia led the historic charge by proclaiming the first ever day of recognition for the nonprofit sector in Canada. Today, thanks to Premier Houston and the members of the Legislative Assembly, we are celebrating the second annual day. We are honoring the women and men whose spirit, resilience, and commitment to meaningful impact brings joy and hope in the lives of Nova Scotians. Thank you, Premier. The scale of our celebration today speaks volumes about the esteem you and your government have for the contributions of the sector. Thank you to our honored guests who are with us in person, the Honorable Minister Barbara Adams, NDP leader Gary Burrell, and MLAs Susan LeBlanc, Claudia Chender, and Susie Hansen. To the many valued corporates, nonprofit leaders, public sector employees, and people from across Canada, this will be an afternoon to remember. We are grateful for your presence. You are honoring not only the economic contribution of the sector, 2.5% of the GDP, $1 billion annually to Nova Scotia, but the immense but as yet unquantified social contribution to the well-being and quality of life of Nova Scotians. Every person in Nova Scotia benefits from the work of nonprofits in one way or the other, whether they realize it or not. I was struck by how appropriate it is that we should gather here at the beautiful new Lighthouse Arts Center. Why? Because the goal of our foundation is to shine a light on an underappreciated sector. Since 2007, we have been recognizing the staff of the sector at public award ceremonies across Canada. In 2018, we began advocating for provincial days of recognition and have had success with 2. We plan to move forward in the next while at the national level. As a former direct service provider, I was asked recently about my dream landscape for the nonprofit sector in Canada. What a great question. Do you know what I said? Esteem, recognition, awareness of the value that the sector provides. That as a society, we appreciate those who help people as much as those who sell products and services. I'm pleased to speak here today. The next few minutes can't begin to cover everything I'd like to say about what you do. So I will focus on 2 things. Your work to reduce the glaring inequalities in our society that the pandemic has laid bare and on the remarkable innovations you have made to continue delivering your services during the last 2 years of the pandemic. Some of you may be familiar with Oxfam's 2021 report, The Inequality Virus. It says that history will remember the pandemic as the first time since records began that inequality rose in virtually every country in the world at the same time. Canada, as you know, has not been immune. Who has worked tirelessly and successfully to address systemic inequality across the province? You, the staff, volunteers, and leaders at Nova Scotia's charitable, nonprofit, and impact organizations. At a granular level, you successfully address inequality, ensuring employment opportunities are available to the disabled, the marginalized groups, racialized groups. You make social justice and respect for intersectionality alive and real for the perceived outliers, be they victims and or survivors of human trafficking or people who were incarcerated. You turn their challenges into a renewed purpose by addressing structural inequalities. As you watch today's awards, listen to the stories behind them. You will hear how you and your co-workers have helped people overcome insurmountable barriers. You expand the definition of what's possible by bringing segregated populations into the mainstream. Through your lens of inclusivity, people are no longer them, but part of us, differently abled, cultured, or gendered, with varied sexual identities. But there's no them, we're all just us, humans with similar needs. The awards today also recognize your efforts during a frightening and uncertain time for all of us, the COVID-19 pandemic. Watch for stories of incredible ingenuity and leadership, endless compassion, and unimaginable dedication. Some quick examples: digital programming for all ages, including, of course, lots of parties, tours of zoos, and Disneyland. Adopting orphan seniors, free moving and storage for victims of intimate partner violence and their families. Galvanizing kids to succeed through sports camps, even rebounding all night long with them, if that works, to motivate them. The ingenuity is boundless. That is who you are. Thank you. On behalf of the Foundation, I'm honored to help recognize and award your extraordinary work. I wish I could be there in person to celebrate with you. In closing, I would like to thank my partners, Sarah Napier, CEO of United Way Halifax, Annika Walton, CEO of the Impact Organizations of Nova Scotia, for your guidance and wisdom, and the province of Nova Scotia for your support. Your partnership is deeply valued. Thank you, Portia Clark. You're an incredible MC. To all the artists and performers today, you were a visual and auditory delight. Thank you to all our well-wishers across all sectors in Nova Scotia for your innumerable messages of support. Congratulations again to all of you, and especially to the award recipients. There are not enough accolades to do justice to you and your contributions. Thank you again, Honourable Minister Barbara Adams and the Government of Nova Scotia, for your appreciation of the sector. Many of you may not know this, but Minister Adams has a deep understanding of the nonprofit sector from her decades of work and volunteering which she started as a young 12-year-old girl working with kids with special needs. I would like to close with a quote from an executive director from Nova Scotia. The award ceremony has had a huge impact on our organization and the staff who received awards. For staff to be completely honored and appreciated, it happens so seldom. The only thing they normally get is our thanks, but to have this recognition is extremely impactful and motivating for them and our staff team. Thank you. I hope to see you all again a year from now when we gather in 2023 for the 3rd annual Day of Recognition. Enjoy the afternoon.
Thank you so much, Raksha. And thank you, Sarah, for your introduction to the awards. Raksha, thanks as well for your family's commitment to highlighting invisible champions throughout the community impact sector. This year's Invisible Champion Awards come from across our province and demonstrate a high degree of flexibility and compassion and creativity, all those things that you've needed to call on in the last year or so, or perhaps decades. Each winner shows incredible passion for the work that they do and the people that they serve, and I'm very pleased and honored, in fact, to recognize these individual champions publicly today. In the interest of time, I'd ask that you hold your applause until the end when we can have a rousing cheer. For the winners, when I call your name, please raise your hand or stand briefly when your name is read. So without further ado, as Raksha said, on to the esteem and the recognition and awareness. Here are this year's winners. Abigail Collins, Family Intensive Case Manager and Live-In Support at Phoenix Youth. Abigail's an incredible listener, advocate, and problem solver through the COVID-19 pandemic. Abigail's looked out for the best interests of her clients and fellow staff, even when many staff were facing burnout and feeling unsupported. She stepped up, she did what was needed, always putting her clients' needs before her own. She didn't stop there. She's dedicated to diversity and inclusion and is an outstanding advocate and ally for her racialized and LGBTQIA+ colleagues. She's also a firm believer in positive change in the workplace and the sector, so congratulations to Abigail Collins. Belinda LeBlanc, Launch Atlantic Team Lead at YWCA Halifax, That's Belinda LeBlanc, Launch Atlantic Team Lead at YWCA Halifax. In 2020, YWCA was provided with funding to expand their Halifax-based launch employment program to a much larger Atlantic-wide initiative. And Belinda took the opportunity and she really ran with it with her strong relationship building skills and her graciousness and adaptability. Belinda led a staff of 6 to success, securing additional renewals for the program. Most importantly, her leadership helped impact 66 employees in 1 year, giving marginalized women and gender diverse people the opportunity to access employment opportunities and to build their skills. So amazing job, Belinda. Thank you. Coulter Simmons, the founder and CEO of We Will Win Youth. For more than 20 years, African Nova Scotian young people have had the opportunity to succeed in school and life and sports, thanks to the dedication of Coulter Simmons. He's a consistent advocate of African Nova Scotian communities. He inspires his staff and his athletes and their parents to make their voice heard and to promote positivity, constantly pushing to be something greater, and his passion really shines through in everything that he does. Coulter will not stop until we all win. So this win's for you, Coulter. Congratulations. Deborah Paris-Perry is a peer outreach worker at YWCA Halifax. As a peer outreach worker supporting survivors of sexual exploitation, she takes her role very seriously. She makes herself available 24 hours a day. She acknowledges that you can't schedule when people need help. She considers it her job to be family for the victims and survivors, helping them through some of the most difficult times in their lives. Her own personal experiences make her the exact person that victims and survivors need when they're struggling. In addition, as a proud Black and Indigenous woman, Deborah courageously speaks up when something is not right, and she challenges the YWCA to do better every day. Thank you, Deborah, for all that you do for your family, and congratulations on this well-deserved award. Donna Poirier, Senior Trustee at Shelter Nova Scotia. Donna's dedication to helping keep people safely housed is so well known that she was nominated by 2 people for this award. She's worked for Shelter Nova Scotia and its predecessor for 39 years, serving hundreds of clients in that time. She contributed to the development and growth of the Community Trustee Program over the past 15 years and serves 150 clients right now. She's known for having a heart of gold and remembering birthdays and important details about people that make them feel special. Donna's a compassionate and empathetic listener and has built long-standing relationships with many clients over the years. She supports people where they are and also empowers people to be their own advocate. Congratulations, Donna. Elizabeth Chute, Rider and Volunteer Care Coordinator, Primary Dispatcher at Southwest Nova Transit. As a dispatcher for Southwest Nova Transit, Elizabeth is diligent about making sure the essential trips her low-income clients need to happen and do, and are a positive experience for both the clients and the drivers. It's her flexibility, though, and attention to detail that makes her efforts truly amazing. When a doctor's appointment goes long or there's some kind of snag holding up the schedule, Elizabeth will often hop in her car. She'll make a local trip to keep things moving. More than anything, Elizabeth understands that Southwest Nova Transit is about more than getting people to their destination. It's about building relationships and keeping people connected to their community and to their supports. Well done, Elizabeth Chute. Keep up the great work. Greg Martel, who I met on the radio earlier this week. He is the Chief Thankfulness Officer at Souls Harbor Rescue Mission. His title says it all. Positive attitude. Lovely man. Cheerful demeanor. Huge impact on everyone at Souls Harbor. He never misses work, even when the weather's poor. He's committed to treating the people that he serves with dignity and respect. For much of the pandemic, Souls Harbor's regular meals had to move to takeout. So Greg was the familiar face that served hundreds of meals every day, and he helped people feel less lonely and did whatever he could to meet other needs that they might have. Greg's very well loved, typical, wouldn't want to have any kind of recognition or seek it out, truly an invisible champion and a joy to talk to. Congratulations, Greg. And Kaylee Smith, Abundance Program Coordinator at Elizabeth Fry Society of Mainland Nova Scotia. Kaylee runs the Abundance Program, which gives marginalized people opportunities to build confidence, to continue their employment and their journeys in education. Since Kaylee joined the team, the program's flourished. Kaylee uses creativity to improve the programming for the women that she serves, even though funds are limited. Also, an incredible champion for systemic change, which is so important. Kaylee's advocated on behalf of her clients to ensure other healthcare professionals treat them with dignity and respect that they deserve, and always provides productive and non-judgmental support. Fantastic work, Kaylee. Krista Watts, a supervisor at Metro Community Housing Association, also getting an award today. In 2021, Krista built and opened a small options care home for people with complex healthcare needs. The pilot project is part of efforts to deinstitutionalize care in Nova Scotia. Krista has already made huge improvements in the quality of life of the clients that she serves, improving access to medical care, advocating for their needs. She's also an incredible support to her colleagues and is always engaged with a positive attitude. In addition, Krista has gone to great lengths to ensure the service her team provides is inclusive and it's welcoming to gender diverse and queer clients, creating a culture of openness and acceptance. Krista's inspired her staff to want a career in community services by demonstrating that change can happen. Congratulations, Krista. And Laurel Taylor, Team Lead Project Hope at Canadian Mental Health Association, also a guest on the show earlier. Laurel's dedication to addressing homelessness in rural Western Zone is nothing short of amazing. This is in Digby, Annapolis, and Kings counties. Without her advocacy, many people might have had to sleep rough without adequate access to resources during the pandemic. So she pursued additional funding for a shelter and hotel rooms when shelter spaces were full. This is in addition to the supportive housing programs that she developed over the past 10 to 15 years. Finally, Laurel is also a persistent advocate for accessibility, including mental health and stigma with accessing services. And as she said to me earlier in an interview, she said, housing is suicide prevention, and that's really stayed with me. Wonderful work, Laurel. Thank you. Lori Edgar, Director of Operations at Affirmative Ventures, COVID-19 affected a lot of businesses, nonprofits, and social enterprises. Affirmative Ventures, no exception. However, they were able to weather the most difficult parts of the pandemic. That was thanks to Lori's longer-term vision and to her planning, adapting their business model and taking care of housing tenants with safety in mind ensured that everyone who needed it was well supported. Lori puts her heart into her work. She often uses personal time to make sure clients have a clean, welcoming home where they can heal. She uses creativity to help people find affordable housing, whether that's finding them appropriate shared housing or converting a garage into a home. Congratulations on this well-deserved award, Lori. Marg McIntosh, Office Coordinator at Chad Transit. Her title may say Office Coordinator, but really, Marg does a whole lot more for Chad Transit. And I'm not sure if it's Marge or Marg, pardon me. Marg? She was instrumental in launching Pictou County Transit, even obtaining her Class 4 license so she could pitch in as needed. She helped launch the Inclusion Bus, and she runs the Sunday Drives program, which takes isolated seniors on sightseeing tours. And on top of all this, Marg's a compassionate person who does everything she can to make sure that clients have access to transportation that's so vital for them. Marg assesses their financial need and assists in accessing supports. The people of Pictou County have better solutions for transit available to them because of Marg, and we're very grateful for your contributions. Congratulations, Marg. Preston Simmons, also winning an award today, YMCA of Halifax, Dartmouth. Preston's a valued staff member of the Community Y, who's known for going above and beyond. He develops and delivers a program 4 times a year that brings together young people to learn life skills that will serve them well in the future. He ensures diversity of ethnicity and socioeconomic backgrounds and looks for newcomers and African Nova Scotians. The young people have a great rapport with Preston. Look at that smile. And he's excelled in recruiting more young people to his program, so keeping it rolling. In addition, Preston plays an important role and has done in developing a temporary women's shelter and ensured $25,000 in grocery store gift cards were handed out to low-income community members during the summer of 2020. Congratulations on this award, Preston. Rob Casey, Program Coordinator, Career Link at Teamwork Cooperative. Rob supports people with barriers to employment to help match them with an employer, and I enjoyed hearing more about his story on the radio. He spends time getting to know his clients, understanding their skills and abilities and what area that they'd like to work in, also constantly networking with employers, helping them understand the benefits of hiring inclusively and supporting the client to be successful in that new role. He's cheerful, he's enthusiastic about his work, he does everything that he can to make sure barriers don't stand in the way of employment. Rob's well loved by his clients, respected by employers, and his work has led to many more inclusive workplaces. Thank you for your dedication, Rob. And Shalene Jones, honoring you today too, Executive Director at Eating Disorders Nova Scotia. Since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, Shalene's worked tirelessly to address the additional support and the need for support for those affected by eating disorders. Her goal is to make sure that no one faces an eating disorder alone, because those people are already very isolated. By adapting and growing her team, she's been able to ensure that care is accessible regardless of income, location, insurance coverage, or background. And recently she worked with researchers at the Mount St. Vincent University, to develop the Safe, Seen, Supported project, which shed light on eating disorder experiences in communities of sexual and gender diversity. She then created a two-spirit trans and non-binary peer support group to offer traditionally marginalized groups a safe space to support their recovery. That's incredible leadership. Shalene, congratulations. In addition to the 15 individual invisible champions that we just heard about, we have 5 organizations that are being recognized this year. And the first we'd like to recognize is Big Brothers Big Sisters of Pictou County. The mission of Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Pictou County is to enable life-changing mentoring relationships to ignite the power and potential of young people. When COVID-19 hit their community, Big Brothers, Big Sisters knew they had to pivot to meet the critical needs like food support and connectivity. The organization used their own funds to provide tablets and internet access for clients so they could continue building their mentor relationships and stay connected. They provided a digital platform and activities to support them and moved to small in-person groups when allowed. BBBS also adapted their signature fundraiser, Bowl for Kids' Sake, to a virtual event. The mentorship that a big brother or a big sister provides to that little sister or little brother is often really life-changing, and the organization in Pictou County did everything they could to ensure that important connection continued, whatever came its way with COVID. So thanks very much to Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Pictou County, and congratulations for your recognition. There's also DASC, that's Dartmouth Adult Services Center. The COVID-19 pandemic was extra hard on DASC program participants who have intellectual disabilities, and needing to stay home meant that they were missing out on the normal programs and activities that allow them to build connections and allow them to stay active. The DASC team and staff reached out to all of the clients to understand what resources they had available. They sourced devices, internet connections, and redesigned programs to meet individual needs, even going so far as to learn sign language and build sensory cards for clients. They really tried to connect in every way that they could. Delivered activity kits, customized instructions to homes and house parties, dance, yoga, lots online, virtual tours of places from around the world. The staff's dedication to their clients is truly beautiful. It's inspiring and heartwarming and comes from the heart. Amazing work, DASC. Congratulations. New Dawn Meals on Wheels, Better Bite Community Kitchen. When the world shut down, again, yes, due to COVID, New Dawn was quick to change to make sure that clients had access to healthy and nutritional meals, and they adapted their Good Food Bus program to a Good Food Packs program. For several weeks, they coordinated with other nonprofits for food hampers for vulnerable families and seniors in the community. And those relationships led to new partnerships when the Good Food Bus was able to get back on track again. In addition, they opened up a Better Bite Cafe. The social enterprise has a focus on providing healthy, nutritious food to Meals on Wheels clients, catering to community and business events, and providing educational food workshops and programming for members of the community. And New Dawn plays an especially important role in keeping seniors healthy and in their community, and they deserve this recognition very much. Congratulations to New Dawn. And our health center, which is more than a building where people can come to get access to health services, it's also a focal point for health and wellness services for the whole region. It offers workshops and training and school outreach in addition to health and mental health services. And through this pandemic, they've worked to try to adapt and ensure that they're meeting the very specific needs of the community that they're in through programs like the community check-in, where they make sure that seniors have someone who's checking on them, for example. Thrive Mental Health, a walk-in clinic in a place where it's not easy to get access in rural Nova Scotia, and the community vaccination promotion. They were able to connect patients and community members and empower them. Their outreach has ensured vulnerable seniors have access to important services, and their mental health clinic is a much needed resource where it's usually difficult to get. A lot of their clients are without a family doctor, but the clinic can help listen to their concerns, suggest strategies, and help and connect them to other services. So a wonderful job, in some cases, perhaps a life-saving job. Congratulations, our health center, to all of you. And finally, last not least, shelter movers. Women and children who are escaping gender-based or intimate partner violence are facing some of the most difficult times in their lives. And without the support of shelter movers, with the support, I should say, of shelter movers, they can have the peace of mind to know that their belongings can be packed and moved safely, and sometimes to a place of safety, to escape their abuser. Shelter Movers is the only organization of its kind and expanded to Nova Scotia in late 2019. And since then, they've helped more than 400 families to transition to a life without violence. Shelter Movers partners with community organizations and shelters and police and security to ensure that the moves are done safely, They also had to adapt at the height of COVID-19 to make sure that every person referred received the support that they needed when they needed it. In addition to being recognized with an Invisible Champion Award this year, shelter movers will also receive a $5,000 bursary for consulting services from Davis Peer. The bursary is going to help them further strengthen their strategy and their impact. So congratulations, shelter movers. I know you'll make the money go far. Well, congratulations to all of you. I think this is when we can raise the roof. A huge congratulations to all of our now visible, invisible champions. Well done. I hope you feel proud that your friends, colleagues, and supporters have put your names forward for these awards. So well deserved. And so many of you that I talked to about your awards really wanted to talk about your teams and share the accolades, because you spoke so well of how it is a team effort and that you weren't doing it alone. So to all the supporters as well. Why don't you come on up for a group photograph? And we, I think at this point, are taking, is that right? Am I off script here? No, come on down. There's a group photograph for all the invisible champions. Congratulations, and thank again to the United Way and the Bhayana Family Foundation for these awards. Now it's not just me ranting on. And we're going to hang out here for a little bit. There's a little bit left in our program, but right now we're taking our photos, so stay tuned. Congratulations, all of you. A part of raising awareness of the value and the impact of people working in this sector includes sharing their stories and the effect that you are having on our society and our environment, and by leading by example. So as part of this event, Terrence Taylor and his team at Changing the Narrative were hired to capture video stories of sector organizations across our province, serving communities in a variety of ways. So we're going to see that video now.
What is the community impact sector?
Well, the community impact sector is
organizations that help the community, I think.
What's that mean?
I'm sorry, but I don't understand.
I don't know.
I don't know. I can't answer that question. I don't know.
Tell me, you said you wouldn't be here today without Maui Maui.
When I used to be alone one time, I used to take pills like candies and drinking a lot. I went every doctor in Cape Breton to get high on pills. They found me in the deep hat ditch. Somebody beat me up and didn't find who did. I died 3 times, and I'm still living. I'm already helping me save my life.
That tattoo is a cover-up.
Yeah.
For us. Before that, it said, "I hate cops." He was always embarrassed of it and wore long sleeve for years. Nobody has to see that anymore.
I consider that Mount is the best place for anybody to live on, for disabled people. That place is a good home for me anyway. I love that place. They're good workers. Darren's the first man, and I knew he's the #1 man in my book.
Domestic abuse knows no demographic, and that's not what I thought probably going in. I had my own misconceptions about this. It's younger people, it's seniors, it's everyone in between. It's people who would identify as, upper, middle, lower class. It's everybody. What I didn't realize was maybe how many times it could take them to try and make an attempt to leave, and to not have the resources there to even bring along the basics of what they need to survive after they make the move. We had made some small difference for them making this transition. They were moving into their own space, which was a pretty exciting location. We weren't moving them into a shelter, so they were very fortunate to have found somewhere else to live. And hopefully we left them knowing that there's parts of society that do genuinely care about them.
My dad had an Egyptian friend who was the coordinator of the mobile food market, and he told my dad, "Why don't you come with your children to learn about volunteering and to gain some English? Because when we came here to Canada, we know nothing about English."
People would ask us questions, try to make friends with us, and we wouldn't understand.
I didn't really know how to speak English, so I saw everyone. I got so excited.
Someone came to us and asked, like, do you guys have dates? We didn't understand what dates mean.
2 iceberg 4 days?
Yeah.
Okay. Go take your stuff.
I grew up here and I want to give back, and the best way to do that is I have the enough energy and the time to help people, volunteer, do whatever I can.
I want to thank Canada and I want to thank the Mumbai Food Market for letting us help here.
This is an important place in our community. It needs to be recognized for what it is. And what it is like a coming home to us. This is my uncle. His name was Gerald Herbert. His nickname was Manny. And my cousin Marjorie Bailey Turner, she was an Olympic runner. Every time I come here, it's not one particular time. I mean, every time I come, I feel good that this is here, that this place belongs to us. When I look at the names on this window here, all the family names that are there, it's unbelievable. It's because I am a Black descendant of Black loyalists, and when I come here and I come in this building, it's a comfort like you would feel when you go home.
Society's views of parenting is if your child is not well-behaved, good little soldiers, then you did something wrong. They don't come with instruction manuals. You need help. So I found that Kids First, they understood.
Gavin's here.
You smile. it's not just for people who need to come here. It's a community. So you can come here and sit with other parents and have some food, have a laugh.
Oh, he knew he wasn't with mom anymore.
Hi.
That's almost. He's like, how is she with my mother? I know. That's my job.
They didn't say, you need to do this, you need to do that.
You want to wait? Sorry.
They said, no, you're doing everything right. I just felt a weight lifted off my shoulders. It was like 2 tons of bricks were gone.
It's awesome being noticed for your creativity, which is nothing I ever experienced before. The studio is free to use. That's the craziest. Like, literally anyone could come in and learn how to make stuff like this. I didn't really know what I was doing with my life beforehand. I was just working shitty jobs and I hated it. So I just decided to take a chance and come to Nova Scotia. And now I'm at the Deanery and I'm an artist here, which is so cool. And I never expected that would happen. And I got all these stained glass jobs and just doing illustrations for the Deanery. It's just like, whoa.
I had implants done, and that's basically they drill into your head. But by the time I got to my dentist and I was really nervous about it, they said, wow, you're in such a good mood. I said, talk to my driver.
We're all set.
That was fun. Can we do it again? I can't say that I have a favorite driver, only because I've enjoyed them so much. But the ones that will listen to me talk, you say, but Joan.
Joan, it's safer if you ride.
I know, and I'm talking with them takes me right out of being nervous. I feel very calm by the time I get there. They were absolutely perfect drivers, lovely people, and I really enjoyed it.
In 9th grade, I came out as being bisexual, which for me at the time was a really big deal. And this happened in October, and I was still attending program at McPhee probably 5 times a week. And January, they opened up a GSA here, which was the first time they've done that. And that was based off of the need of a queer person attending the center. And to have an entire group made off of one person's need, that being mine, incredible. That month, we had probably 6 to 8 people, all queer, attending this program. And that was the first time I had a group of queer people like that, just period. That was my first group queer experience at the McPhee Center, and they made that happen.
Well, I really, truly, you don't have to record this. I honestly love them. They are, you know why I think they're, can I just say this to you? The reason they're so essential is we have nothing else in this area of Nova Scotia. There's no alternative other than to get your family to take you. And I have a lot of family, but they're all my age. They can't take me to, at the drop of a hat, or they're working or whatever. They feel such a need that it would be desperate for me not to have something like them. That's all I'm saying. And they're not paying me to say this either.
Command Hooker?
I told you I talk too much.
Oh, that was great storytelling. And really got me in the heart. Thanks to Terrence Taylor and his team at Changing the Narrative, who put together that amazing video. Well, we have another performer today who is going to close out for us. This is Michael Saunier. Hi, Michael. He's a musician from Clare, the lead singer of the new Acadian pop punk band, Peanut Butter Sunday. Also plays folk music. And when he doesn't have a guitar in his hands, he spends his day as JD Composites building houses that are made of 100% recycled plastic bottles. So you're that guy. Michael's going to be singing a song that he wrote in French. So help me welcome Michael Saunier.
Hello, there we go. How's everybody doing? Yeah. So, as you heard, my name is Michael Saunier. I was asked to come here and perform a French song for y'all because I'm a French Acadian from Métégan, which is in Clare. Is there anybody here who's French? Woo! Nice. Right on. This is a song that I wrote back in 2019. Prox. Time flies so fast. Who knows? And it basically just kind of captures how I feel about my hometown of Clare, and I'm a big fan. And yeah, so it's called Clare. Merci beaucoup. Mes amis, en temps de voir, fil du chocofar qui flotte around dans l'air. Matado, patard, la bière à l'eau, tu sautes déjà, ma saute plus haut. Tu te rendras compte que t'es fier. Peut-être que tous tu veux être en clair. L'autre, s'il vous plaît, vos bardeaux. Arrêtez de gaspiller notre eau. La mort de même, ça waste du temps. Au jour d'Aster, ça c'est leur show. Fiberglass ou please m'avoir du fort. C'est point compliqué, puis c'est point la mer à boire. Pour les courses de rats à Toronto, Montréal ou Chicago, Chinatown puis Halifax, oh tous tu needs it Lincoln tax, une bicyclette, une part de sneak, une tonic water short but sweet, une belle famille, une cute guitare, et peut-être un bon, un electric car, worry point about les autres affaires. Oh tous tu need être 17 dans clair.
Et Jacques Surette, Mike avec T-Believer, faisons de la suite. Please, crois-moi que je suis le premier dude à le faire. Oh, prends ton temps, va point vite, ça pris 22 ans à écrire ça. Worry point about les autres affaires. Oh, flick la switch, puis settle down dans clair.
Thank you.
See? That was beautiful. I grew up across St. Mary's Bay over on Digby Neck. Yeah. Well, speaking of artistic talent, Bria, you've been working away there for the last couple of hours. Bria Miller, do you want to share a little bit about what you've been producing as you've been listening to stories about inspiring people and listening to these wonderful acts?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm almost done. The only thing I actually have to draw now is the event agenda to write down like the flow of what happened today. But yeah, so I've captured some of the lines from the speakers. So in all these bubbles, you'll also be able to see after this event online when it's shared, you'll be able to actually zoom in to read everything. But yeah, I've been capturing what everybody's been saying. Also some of the themes of what folks have been talking about today. So there's a beautiful little memento of this day and recognition for all of you. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Artistry in motion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bria. And thanks to everybody who's been here to take part in the event and to feel it in your hearts, whether you're here in person in the room or watching virtually. Full recording is going to be available on Vimeo, and the partner organizations, of course, will be sharing it across their networks. It's been a real honor to be here today. I felt like we've gone on a journey together, and looking forward to the after party. Apparently there's an after party. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you for being here. Congratulations.